What's up, everyone? I know I said I wasn't gonna do this video. Like, I said I was done addressing, like, the edge rusher position that the Bears don't even like. That's their only weak spot. And I'm starting to agree with a lot of people. They're saying that we're probably, even though it's very unlikely we do this, I think if we're smart, we're gonna add a pass rusher to this team. So I don't want to say that it's going to happen because it's kind of likely at this point that the Bears go into this season with only having DeMarcus Walker and Travis Gibson as their number one and number two pass rush. But before we get to those two, I want to talk about the available free agents that the Bears could go after. And I think I'm not going to include Robert Quinn because the Bears traded Robert Quinn. And why would Robert Quinn want to come back to the team that traded him? It just doesn't make any sense. But Yannickin is a likely person that the all Bears fans have been wanting to uh, get, but it's looking like the last report I heard about Yannickin was he wants to go to a contender, which kind of I think if it were up to Yannickin, I think he would probably take a 1 year deal with the Bears. And then if he still thinks that he wants to go to a contender, then we could possibly draft a edge rusher. Janavion Clowney, not very sure about him. Again, he's 30 years old and he's been injury prone, but when he's healthy, he can produce. Melvin Ingram, do we even like? He's like decent. I think he's decent. Justin Houston, a guy that Ryan Poles invested in when he was on the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is probably a likely signing that were to happen. But yeah, like I said, age is a very big concern because he's 34. So you're looking at a possible 1 to 2 year deal at best. So let's get to the current maybe because you all these names that you can see right now is just kind of unlikely that the Bears are going to go into this year with like the only possible way is Yannickin, Janavion Clowney, Melvin Ingram, or Justin Houston get signed. But the rest, I don't even know, bro. But get into the current pass rushers. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about most the recent one that we got. DeMarcus Walker, who we got from the Tennessee Titans. Last year was his great season. He had a outbreak year. He had about 7 sacks, and this was a solid signing by Ryan Poles, in my opinion. But is he a top tier pass rusher? No. He's a below average pass rusher, in my opinion. But Bears fans are putting their hopes back into this, I'm assuming, because they they probably know that they're going to go into this year with this pass rusher. And I had high hopes for him last year, but he failed to my expectations. Travis Gibson. Uh, so he didn't start at all in 2000. Well, he didn't really start at all in 2020, his rookie year. 2021, which was his best year. He had 7 quarterback hits, 7 tackles for loss, and he had about 7 sacks. That was when after Khalil Mack went down. And this year, he has had 4 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits, 17 tackles, and only 3 sacks. So I get why fans are putting their hopes into one basket, hoping that Travis Gibson is going to potentially break out. Trust me, I want Travis Gibson to break out. But do I see that happening? No. I don't see Travis Gibson breaking out. I think this is probably going to be potentially his last year in a Bears uniform unless he breaks out and like has like a somewhat close to a double digit sack season as we kind of hoped for that he did last year, but it's not looking like that. Like I said, you can love the player, Travis Gibson, the player, but not the player. You can the person, but the player is a different story. Now, Ryan Poles, I know he said that he was going to look for a potential edge rusher candidate to be on the Bears, but it's not looking like that, bro. And I know a lot of people are going to throw shades at Ryan Poles, be like, oh, why didn't he address it at the draft? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Listen, I kind of want that answer, but at the same time, let's not take away Ryan Poles' great things that he did in the offseason, making the biggest trade for DJ Moore, adding linebackers, and making a trade to 3 caliber starters, Darnell Wright and Tyreek Stevenson. No shape, no ifs, stands, or buts about it. I've said it before in my edge rusher videos. I said this. Whatever Ryan Poles does, I trust that he is going to make the right decision. And when he does get asked about this, if we don't add a pass rusher, which is looking like it, if we don't sign a edge rusher, Ryan Poles is going to say, we tried, we didn't want, we are going to go, we're going to have the crew that we have, and we're just going to have to wait and see. But we checked the edge rushers. We didn't think that none of them can fit our scheme of defense that that he was running in Chicago. Ryan Poles, if he doesn't add a edge rusher, is going to say that. I can almost guarantee you that's what he's going to say. He's going to say he tried. It's just he doesn't feel like any of these defensive players do not fit this team's scheme of how they run a defense. Because remember, the Bears defense runs a 4-3 scheme. But is it possible that Travis Gibson breaks out? Yes. But is it likely? No. I have to see it to believe it. And also, I'm not going to be surprised if our only weakness on this defense is pass rush, because you need pass rush to get to the quarterback. Because if there's one thing that a quarterback, the last thing you want to give a quarterback is time in the pocket. Because that was the Bears' problem last year. Because the Bears were the 29th ranked defense last year. We had no pass rush. We had 20 sacks. That's horrible. But, like I said, it's unlikely that we do this, but I'm not ruling it out. I know I did an interview with the Windy City Productions, and I appreciate him, trying to keep it positive, but it's not looking like that, bro. Listen, if it were up to me, here's the thing. If it were up to me, I would have drafted a edge rusher in the later rounds. But as somebody who appreciate what Ryan Poles has done for this team, I'm not gonna be like these Bears fans that want Ryan Pace back because they think Ryan Pace would have addressed it head on and not even waiting to the draft, just head on. listen, as much as Ryan Pace made some splash moves in a free agency, he didn't like. There were times where he overpaid a player. If we did it with Robert Quinn, but um, remember in 2018 during training camp when Khalil Mack was having problems with the Raiders with his like contract situation, and there were talks about him getting traded to the Packers or the Bears during that training camp scenario. The Bears decided to trade for him. So I'm not saying it's not out of the possible, but I know what you're thinking. But who are we going to trade for? There's a lot of players, believe it or not, that could potentially be traded. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Matthew Judah, and certainly last but not least, I know it's unlikely this happens, Danielle Hunter. I think that is probably what's going to happen, potentially happen. But Bears fans, let me know anything in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and bear down always.